Welcome, folks. We are back yet again with another episode, the 2W Boys, the Auto Trends Podcast. We are coming in hot, new branding, baby. Lukey, Welk, who did that?
Looking good.
Wow.
I
I
know.
feel like I'm the hottest guy, hottest girl, because everybody's transgender these days. Don't ever call me by my sex in the place of work, baby. Woohoo.
Yeah, man. Look at my new workplace. What do you think of
man.
the studio, dude? I
Telling
did some renovations.
You took you went and took a shower and you came out looking beautiful.
Yeah, man. No, I redid the back, put up some nice blue lighting in the back and been working hard the last week, dude.
Yeah, I hear you there. I'm gonna get some cool stuff going on. I know I've been talking about it. I'm gonna get some cool things back here, man. I'm feeling like I'm feeling a little bit behind here, but that's okay.
Right? That's all right. You're still looking good as
always.
Oh,
get out of here, man.
that's why people tune in. That's why our audience is largely women.
I looked in the mirror and I thought I was carrying an extra sweater on my chest, man. I'm getting a little bit big. Too many sweets.
Yep.
Way too many candy bars.
Hear you on that.
Oh, baby. Lucas Welk, what we got going on, man? What's new? What's hot?
Look at all the stuff we've got going on with 2W. I mean, this last week has actually been crazy at 2W Auto Group. Jesus.
Nuts.
If you guys haven't, again, we're going to harp on it, but visit 2wautogroup.com. A ton of new things on there. You're going to see all of our new divisions, all of our recent press releases. Visit, obviously, our social media. And now with our fancy new overlay that we have going here, you can see on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, but all the handles are below. So like and subscribe to all of those channels for sure.
Yeah, Jennifer Abella, man, shout out, huh? On her sales and marketing. She's just been freaking dominating.
Yep, absolutely. Dope.
Reach
Our pages are looking good and getting updated literally day to day. We're staying right up to date now, so be sure to like and follow and
absolutely
stay tuned.
And come on the podcast, put together some articles. There's a lot of things going on. Reach out to Jennifer, team at 2wautogroup.com. She is the woman behind 100%. The machine.
And subscribe to the newsletter as well.
Yeah.
Go to the website. You can type in your email address, subscribe to our newsletter. And like Gideon said, if you're looking for some promotion in the 2W magazine, if you're looking for some podcast promo, all of our pricing and everything like that is on the website now as well. So check that out and get in contact with us.
Speaking of SEMA Apex coming up here in November, what are we about 2 months out? Probably a little bit less.
Coming up quick.
The Auto Trends Podcast will be at SEMA and Apex. We're actually going to be in partnership with Revolution Parts. So shout out. One of the number one parts commerce platforms in the business. Giving us some space. Pretty awesome.
Yep. No, that's going to be huge. That's going to be, a massive couple of weeks of shows and some big exposure and great to see everybody again. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to make it, but you're going to be there. So you'll be representing, but
you'll dial in. You'll dial in.
Of course I will. 100%.
Yeah,
it's just a great time to see everybody face to face again, that interaction, some FaceTime with all your buddies, in the industry that and that's so important now. We lose that sort of connection, that one-on-one. You shake somebody's hand, fucking you give them a hug, and just nice to see everybody again.
It's the best. Nothing's better.
Yeah.
To see your industry homies is nothing better. I love rolling the streets of Apex and SEMA and just high-fiving it. You would think you're on a big football team and everyone's just scored a touchdown.
Right.
Everyone's all fired up. They all look their best. They took a shower.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, the annual shower.
Some beers. And the thing too, get some free beers, man. Find your buddies and then have them put them on the other guy's tab.
Right. But nobody would go to the show like hungover the next day. I mean, that would be ridiculous.
Oh, never. Nobody
everybody's
drinks,
in bed,
actually. Yeah, everyone just gets ready for church on even Thursday night.
Yeah. In bed by 8 p.m. every single night.
Yeah.
Very
There's
good.
Nothing.
Very good.
Nothing going on. Actually, I had probably a couple years back. I had the most expensive dinner I've ever had in my life in Vegas at Apex. Yeah.
All right.
It was. Oh man, now the name's drawing a blank. Yuma. It's a Japanese sushi house.
Right. Yuma sounds familiar.
Man, I'm gonna find it. I'll find it in a sec. It's like $12,000 freaking dinner, man. Like for 10 people.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, they just kept coming and coming and coming, and I just kept eating and eating and drinking.
You bought for everybody.
No way.
Oh, I was going to say you're very
No
generous.
way, man. No way. I sat right
Right.
next to the president of some big organization.
Right. Okay. So you didn't
Yeah.
even pay for your own.
Oh God, no. Oh
Oh,
God, no.
wow. Wow.
Absolutely not. It typically goes on one tab.
Right.
Whoever is, there's always one person at the table that's buying.
That poor sucker. Yeah, that
Yeah.
poor sucker.
He was asking for business.
Well, I hope a lot of business. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a nice little bill.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
regardless, so that's coming up. Yeah, really looking forward to that. So if you are looking for to hop on with the AutoTrends podcast, we will be at, I got to get the booth number. We will be at the booth set up, ready to rock. Our schedule is open. So if you're looking at a 15-minute kick just to come in, talk about what you're doing, the whole intent of that is really to kind of level up and uplift the manufacturers or and part sellers and technologies in our space. Just come in and talk about what you're doing, talk about the innovation, talk about what you've been working on all year. Given the where is your booth at? Who do you want to come? Do you really kind of get your word out there and hurl the message. But it's a combination of, we'll be running those live. But right after they cut out live, we're going to go ahead and be sending them into a recorder, and we're going to be putting those out on online on LinkedIn and through all of our channels. And so as a manufacturer, you can take that and just help create awareness with what everything, because we've all been working hard, right? This is the biggest show of the year. We're working really hard. We're bringing attention to what we're doing, and everyone's doing the same. And so we just really want to kind of provide that platform. And we want to continue doing this year over year at every single big event. So if you're not SEMA Apex, if you're PRI, if you're NADA, if you're the MEMA, the Auto Care Association, and you're looking for really an opportunity to level up all of your guests and your members, we're happy to do so. This is kind of what we do at the AutoTrends podcast, and that's just what we do. That's what we love.
Yes. Exciting times. Exciting times.
Yeah. So yeah, check out the site. Got some guests coming up. Craig Fox.
Yes, coming up. Mr. Craig Fox. He is coming up.
Yeah.
Indeed. That's going to be exciting, talking about our employee leasing, our outsourcing program through 2W Team Builder. Yeah. If you check out again our social media, our website, you'll see all of our announcements about our partnership with OnSource. And that's just going to be massive. I mean, that's going to be absolutely massive. Globally, that's going to be massive.
Globally, yeah. You know what I love most about that is the number one piece in the automotive is profitability, right? So there's two things. There's correlations. And I think this is why this partnership is so critically important. And that's where we kind of, put our heads together. Between you and I, we have presence in North America. You have presence in Asia. And so we leverage some really great relationships. What we're doing here is cultivating an automotive outsourcing culture. Right. Mm-hmm. So when companies globally are looking for, oh gosh, we know that talent in the industry is turning over every 15 months and we're paying an egregious salary that maybe we feel is not worth it. We're looking to other options that we are developing automotive focused talent that is for hire, right? Like that's what we do. We develop that. And so I think it's really going to be awesome to watch that partnership just kind of cultivate and grow. And yeah, and so that's the beauty of looking at other options to grow your team in a global manner, right? And so I've seen it a lot. I think when we look at digital transformation, that's only going to be the front of what we're doing over the next 5 and 10 years. And so as you look at your organization, it's really critically important to think about how you're going to develop your teams. Think about how you're going to move that model forward. Hold on. Look, do I sound okay? Because it sounds funny right now.
It sounds okay on my end.
Test 1 2. Test. Yeah, talk.
Yeah, it sounds fine on my end.
Okay, we're good. All right, we're back. And yeah. So it's really important to think about how you're going to evolve your teams and where is necessary. Like, where do you want global resources versus domestic resources, right? So having Craig Fox on, the CEO, he's been in this game a long time. I think he's going to bring so much incredibly awesome value to our industry to talk about it, right? It's not one size fits all, but it's certainly an opportunity to help drive margin, and really help grow all aspects of your organization, right? From your tech,
That's
right?
it.
From your IT support side, to your sales and marketing, to your design, like your web designers, your graphic designers, to your account management, to your sales support. I think there's all these
Yep.
pieces, and every company has different needs. And so I think there's a great opportunity to not only, move some of that employment into, um, into a global setting, but it really helps drive profitability, and also you're supporting a global market. And I think that
100%.
that's a really incredible piece. And so, yeah, really excited for that partnership, and
Yep.
love to see that, kind of slowly evolve and come together. It's gonna be really, really awesome to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Craig's been doing this in the industry, I think, for over 20 years now, and he's well respected in the industry, and he's helped companies grow, massively, from zero, like literally zero employees, from a founder, and building them a team from zero to God knows what. Craig will be able to explain it, but one thing I like with Craig is he understands the process. Whether you're a big multinational organization, he knows, kind of what your needs are from an outsourcing and employee leasing standpoint. Or you're just starting out and you're cash strapped and all you need is one virtual assistant. He's able to kind of guide you down the path and say, this is how you start. You start with one person in this area, migrate to, another person in this area. Once you get 4 or 5 staff, you have a supervisor, and he's able to, add in all these layers himself, which is great. And he kind of takes you down that path. And he's the one, managing these employees, and training, all this sort of stuff. But no, he's going to be a fantastic guest.
Yeah,
Um,
that's really awesome. And the thing is I think it's important, as we look at from the particular partnership with 2W, is that what happens we're going to cultivate world-class automotive talent, right?
yep.
That's really the key here, is that that's where that it just worked, and it makes so much sense. So yeah, stay tuned. I think that's going to be really cool, just to learn a lot about it, right? I mean, you don't necessarily have to take action today, but I do think as we look at digital transformation, that piece is going to become critical on how you think about it. I think that that's something that you have to be thinking about,
Yep.
or there's opportunity that maybe you not necessarily get left behind. But when you look at it's profit, right? It's business, man. Cash in, cash out, right? How much money is left over at the end of the day that we can reinvest in the future?
Yep.
That's an important part of what we're doing. So yeah, it's very
Yep.
exciting.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. What
So,
else we got going on in the world of automotive? What
and the
anything you got on the
news,
dock? Hey.
there's
Woo.
a few things, you see Stellantis now. I was just reading this just before we came on the podcast. They're announcing a strategic partnership with Amazon for in-car tech. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that, just thinking about it, the in-car tech, there's only so much you can do with an exterior, part of a car, obviously, with the guts of a car. But this in-car tech is fascinating, because that's really very, very much evolving. What kind of technology do you want in your car? I mean, soon, obviously, I think Wi-Fi, you're going to have, I think you're going to be connected actually and everywhere in the world, I think, in a
Yeah, I
matter of
agree.
years. You're not going to have a Wi-Fi router, in your own house. You're just going to be connected as you walk around anywhere. You go outside, you're going to have Wi-Fi. I think
So,
that's going to come at some stage.
yeah, you look at like Starlight, you look at what Tesla's doing, you look
Mm.
at servers, right? I mean, we already have Wi-Fi for the most part, right? With the exception
Yeah.
of transit. But some of your high-end cars, I mean, some of your high-end luxury brands are already, putting internet in it. I mean, no different than an
They are,
airplane, right?
of course. Yep.
Um, and I find that interesting. Stellantis is really an interesting organization. I mean, if for some of you guys don't know, Stellantis is the Mopar brand. So from the parts perspective, they are so scrappy. I always feel like they are pushing the limits.
Yep.
I mean, we know the big parts program that they run, right? Store.mopar.com. That's really next level. But I find that really intriguing, that they're looking to Amazon for their
Right.
in-car.
Yeah.
Alexa,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Alexa. That's the whole thing. They're basing it kind of around that, I think. Yep. And
Yeah, well,
they're
it's the
Alexa,
word
and obviously
generative.
they're cloud-based stuff,
Yeah,
you know.
that's really intriguing because everything is about, I mean, you can talk about bra and panties, and next thing you know, on your phone, you got bra and panties,
Right. Right.
marketing
Exactly.
like oh shit, well, I meant to say underwear.
Exactly.
You know,
it is scary. We used to actually in our office in the Middle East, we used to have what was it now? I think it was Apple Home, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it was eerie. You know what I mean? It was really, really scary how,
yeah.
you'd receive those pop-ups. And even still to this day on my phone, I mean, you're just talking about something. And one day I said to myself, I've got to research how this happens. Where is it actually getting this data from? Is it, because a lot of the stuff, it's not based on search. It's not, I'll be talking about a John Deere
No.
tractor, and I didn't search for a John Deere tractor, but then suddenly a John Deere tractor is going to, pop up on my phone, which is, bizarre because why would I look for a tractor?
Well, yeah, I remember one time there was like a conversation over people around me were talking about like tampons. Next thing you know, I had a tampon commercial.
Right.
This is insanity.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think who gets it right. I mean, it's just gonna be fast followers, right? So, I mean, all the automakers. I feel like a lot of the cars have great technology in it.
Yeah.
I think technology has just been insane. It's also driven up the price, right? It's driven up the price of goods of cars, which, to think of a $75,000 car in North America, that's absurd to me, man. That's a lot of money for a car.
It is. It is.
But we'll see. I think that's a really interesting. I think that's an interesting partnership, and I think we'll follow it. Maybe it improves. Obviously the Jeep brand is very strong. Obviously they spun off Dodge and Ram. I think that we'll watch that, but I think that's really interesting because I haven't seen any Amazon or Alexa in the vehicles. I've seen Siri because that's tied to your Apple phone, but
right.
I think that's something that we should keep an eye on.
Yep. No, 100%. 100%. And then you see Ford also, they're expanding their manufacturing again to Mexico. A lot of people going to Mexico right now. A lot of these companies looking at Mexico. I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of the gateway, I suppose, between North and South America. Very strategic spot. Lower wages, obviously.
Yeah, I was ZC Rubber. They just announced their tire production in Mexico.
Right.
600,000 square foot plant.
Right.
And it's like but that was, so it was their vice president, Henry Sheen. He explained, well, it's central to North and South America.
Exactly.
But that's interesting to see Ford. I didn't even know you were going to say that, but it's interesting to see Ford doing that as well. And we're starting to see that. What's funny today, I just got off, I was just on a call with some guys out of Mexico, and they were talking about, they've been in the automotive business. I don't even know how they reached out to me. You know how we do. We don't ever not take a call because we're nice guys.
That's right.
But no, so we were just talking a little bit about the markets in North America and, what they were doing in Mexico. And I kind of asked them point blank, I said, what's the goal here? Like, what's your end objective? Yep. And they're like, do you want to get in the North America market? And they're like, no, not a lot. There's too many competitors. They said, we want to go south. And I was like, I think that's brilliant. I think you guys are on the right track. That's so smart. And they said, but in the supply chain from Mexico south is very difficult. So there's technicians that are waiting months for just a simple replacement part. And so what we were talking about is connecting them into supplying and distribution in North America and laying the groundwork to funnel help with their supply chain. And so it's funny that you start to look at the Ford manufacturer, their footprint, the tire manufacturer starting to look at Mexico. Another thing, this is actually really intriguing. BYD. I know we talk a lot about EV, and I'm annoyed with EV, and I'm over EV for right now. But they are pausing. Okay, so if you don't know who BYD is, probably people in North America probably don't. BYD is a low-end, economical buy EV vehicle out of China, right? It's what is it? It's the what is it? It's like what the hell's the name of the vehicle? It's a BYD. I can't remember the name. I'll refresh my mind, but it's like a $10,000 EV, so it's very cheap. But it was interesting. So I think we've talked about China and what they're doing. They obviously want to get into the North America market, and they're trying to attack Canada and Mexico. Mexico makes so much sense. Well, Mexico makes so much sense to your point, because I think you're central to the South America market. And But what I find really interesting is we look at all of the kind of up and down kind of data on the electric vehicle, and they're pausing their plant, they're pausing their factory plans in Mexico.
Right. Yep. No, it's interesting. I think even with the upcoming election, right? I mean, you look at these guys that are building these, manufacturing plants there. I think it's very smart, from an economic sort of, perspective. Obviously, cheaper wages, like you said, it's kind of the gateway, North and South America. But I would be a little bit careful with the election coming in, and potential tariffs, that the U.S. will put on these products coming into the U.S. Understand completely why they do it. But again, they may be looking at it and saying, well, even if they put on these tariffs and they, put on heavy tariffs, it still makes more economical sense still to have it in Mexico versus the U.S. So I'm sure they're weighing that in, regardless that they could get hammered with some significant tariffs.
How much do you think the allyship of Mexico and the U.S. has on that?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know what I mean? Because Mexico and the U.S. are very much allies, very much.
Right. Oh, of course they are. Yeah, sure they are.
And I believe there's a pretty good relationship there, with the exception of the border issues. But honestly, I don't. The border problem is not it's not Mexico. The border problem is everyone funneling through Mexico, which that's political.
Sure, of course. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, no, I think that the ties are obviously strong, and no, I think it's a smart move. I think.
But you want to put a stop to BYD, right? You want to put a stop with any Chinese trying to infringe on your product in your market.
Yeah.
So there's certain things you're okay with, you're cool with, and there's certain things you're not. Right.
That's right.
This isn't just a gateway. Say, hey, we get a lot of vegetables coming through Mexico into the North America, but every fifth truck is a cocaine truck.
Right. Yep. And I think, I mean, and not even being biased or political, but I think, these manufacturers now, I mean, I would say the vast majority of them and the leadership in these companies will be hoping that Trump gets in. I think it's, if Trump gets in, that's a very good thing for auto manufacturing.
Very good.
Yeah. From a business perspective, I'm not talking anything politically, but I'm just saying from an economic sort of, perspective, I think, that is very, very good for them. So,
well, we're already seeing automakers look to move down market. Right. We're seeing that. I know Rivian, Lucid, Tesla, they're rolling out new models that are going down market because we've seen the price wars and the price pressures. Right. There was a $500 billion investment in EV, but we see the shift back to hybrid. And I think you're seeing all automakers looking to move down market because they're just kind of seeing, gosh, prices are getting a little out of control. Where can we cut cost? Okay, we could remove some features. We don't necessarily have to have all the bells and whistles. Nowadays it's like the guy who makes $45,000 has to have an $80,000 car. And well, those loans go belly up, right? I think loans were moving to like 8 years or something. Imagine going in and buying a car and having to pay on it for 8 fucking years.
Right. Massive.
Shoot me in the head, man. I don't like it that much. Give me a bicycle.
Right. I mean, I even look here in the Philippines, and you're mentioning a bicycle. You can buy, what they consider to be a multi-cab here, they call it. But it's essentially a small truck, a small van, and you're buying these things literally for $3,000 or $4,000. And it's not bad. I mean, it's a car. It's I'm not saying it's the fucking Mercedes Maybach or anything. But it gets you from point A to point B. You can get the family inside, and you're talking for $3,000. You're not paying, like you say, for 8 years, and that's more expensive than a fucking mountain bike. Now in the U.S.
Oh,
if you
for
buy
sure,
a good quality fucking road bike to drive to work,
$10,000.
That's yeah. So exactly.
$10,000. I bought a mountain bike, a Trek, years ago for $1,400. Okay?
Right.
And I moved to Jacksonville, Florida. And I took it out to the beach and was riding it. It was all badass, no shirt on, just freaking looking all stellar. Locked it up on a bike rack. Fucking thing got stolen, man.
Gone. Right. Yeah. That'd piss you off. Yeah.
Oh, it fired me off. I even saw a video of the guy doing it, man.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah. Right. How am I going to ever catch him? I looked for my bike on Craigslist and on all these marketplaces.
Right.
Never got it back, man. So that was a lost soldier. But to your point, that was a $1,400 bike, and that was like considered just like run of the mill. Like, that's an okay bike. Mine's $7,000.
Right. No, you're getting like beautiful. Like I bought one, and actually I got rid of it. But when I first moved here, I bought a scooter. And when I say scooter, it's called a Yamaha NMAX, and this thing looks fucking slick. You know what I mean? A fucking 150cc, whatever, but fucking slick looking. And it costed me $2,000. Let's say, I'm just converting currencies here, but $2,000 for a beautiful, slick fucking bike, to get around. And it just kind of goes to show you don't have to spend all this money. I mean, how much time do you spend in the car? How much technology really? And I'm not, banging on the automakers here, or, obviously we're a fucking automotive podcast, but I mean, really, what do you need in a car? How fancy of a car do you need to get around day to day? And how much of your money do you need to spend or take out loans and be stressed out each month and have this massive car loan to say, well, wow, I've got a fucking Hummer, or I've got, some stupid thing you don't need. Just to say you got it.
I hate that. I hate debt. Debt is the death of me, man. I hate it. I live better when I don't have debt. My mind's clear. I have better jokes. I'm more spry. I don't give a fuck a little bit more.
Exactly.
I hate debt, man. And that's but that's the thing, is that like I'm probably gonna go to the Philippines and buy one of those little cabs you told him, bring it home, man. Show my wife.
Right.
Honey, I got a new ride, man. New bit.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing
See, I
wrong
could
with
pull
it.
that shit off all day long, man. I could drive a hoopty, no problem.
Right.
No
Absolutely.
problem, baby.
Yep. But it's
mergers and what's that? Good.
No, I was just gonna say, no, it's these manufacturers' job though to make something new, shiny, and
absolutely,
convince us that we need it. Like having this Alexa, in the car. Okay, that sounds okay. You're like, well, maybe I could use that for something, and they're gonna try and convince us that. Obviously, what have you been doing for the last 20, 30, 40 years? You drove in a car without AI, Alexa in the car. That's ridiculous. Now there's TVs in the car, and I've never watched fucking TV in the car. I mean, I never have.
No. Remember when you were like young
in the
and
back
like
seat or whatever, and fuck,
Yeah, your friend's dad has these TVs back there.
Right?
You never watched
of
them,
course.
man.
No,
Never watched them.
No. But it looks good, and you're convinced. Oh, I need this. Obviously,
Yeah.
I must have a TV in the car.
No, I don't need that. I actually, my wife and I moved to a one. Granted, she has a company car, but she moved to a one car family, or we moved to a one car family that we own, right? And I love it, dude. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Yeah, granted, I bought a golf cart because I, zip around the neighborhood, man. That's better in my opinion than a car, dude. It's less maintenance, less money, and I have more fun too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
no, absolutely.
Mergers and acquisitions, man. BBB completes the acquisition of All Star Auto Parts. I think that's an interesting acquisition.
Yep. No, that is absolutely.
All Star Auto Parts. They're based out of Orlando, Florida, and they are a small WD of automotive aftermarket as well as OEM parts. I just find that interesting. So All Star Auto Parts, again, they're smaller WD. We're seeing a big acquisition. We're seeing warehouse distributors be acquiring by the big ones, right? Some of the large guys like Parts Authority, Factory Motor Parts, MPW, the Parts House, XL Parts, kind of their sister companies. But World Pack got sold. Our last episode was on World Pack. I think that's a dumb move by Shane O'Keen. I'll tell him to his face. He probably don't care, but he doesn't even listen to this, I'm sure. But
right. Yeah.
What if he does though? What if he like listens in and he tunes in? He's like,
we're gonna have all sorts of haters and stuff like that.
Yeah, the 2W guys are just ripping on him hard, right to his face. And then and we're like, he's not even tuned in. The dude's like plugged in, just
every episode he's our number one fucking fan and the whole bit, and now he's just gonna boycott us. Yeah.
I don't give a shit though. I'm gonna exactly call it like I see it, man. I think it's a bad move.
Right.
I don't have I have no skin in the game.
No, but
we run a fucking podcast, man.
Right, exactly. That's all we do. Look, we're just little guys. Leave us alone. We're just trying to make a living here.
We're trying to make cool graphics.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I still think it's a bad move. But yeah, so we're seeing a consolidation, right? Like it's just constant. We're also hearing a lot of chatter that WDs that have got over their skis with big Amazon partnerships to find out that they weren't that profitable. So top line revenue looks great, and then they start to flutter a little but like, oh shit, what got us here? We kind of went digital. But but I find this really, really interesting because BBB Industries, I think they have 6 or 7 brands. They're a big company, and all in the aftermarket. They may have some OE contracts, but all in the, and so, but I find it funny because for years, manufacturers have been trying to cut out the distributor, but it's difficult. So they acquire a distributor, right? An All-Star Auto Parts, and distributors, if people, just so people are aware, once you have market share, like the jobbers, the repair shops, it just shows up on your P&L. Like it just shows up every single month, every quarter, right? And so they're very stable businesses. And so we start to look at investments into these warehouse distributors. Marubeni of America Corporation, for example, they're a large publicly traded company out of Japan, and they acquired XL Parts, the Parts House, White Brothers. There's Cold Air down in Florida. And they're continually gobbling up these small mid-market deals. It wouldn't be surprised if maybe they got outbid on that.
Right.
But what I find interesting is so BBB buys them, right? They acquire them. For what?
Right.
Like what's their end game? To maybe run their products through a small distributor?
Right.
No.
Right.
Only a certain part of the market. Anyways, I don't know what's going to come of that. I wish I was on the inside of that so I can kind of know why.
Understand.
I don't understand it.
Yep. No, I don't either. When I was reading through that article, I thought the same thing. And again, I think, some of these organizations are very smart to consolidate, but amongst each other, WDs to WDs, I think that makes good sense. You're limiting competition. You can price control stuff a little bit more, monopolize as much as you can. And that to me makes sense. But these types of acquisitions, you're right, don't on the surface, let's say to me, make a pilot sense.
You're a manufacturer because you think of your costs as a manufacturer, engineers, architects. You have so much into building the product, right? Raw materials, warehouse facilities, all of that. There's a lot that goes into that. So I don't know if I quite understand it, but I think to your point is, like you look at Fisher Auto Parts and they just acquired Row Auto Service, 32 locations, right? Again, big WD acquires small WD. It's probably an older guy. He's trying to just get out of the business. And that's very common. I mean, a mentor of mine, David Honig, who was the president of the Parts House. I mean, he sold the business, right? He wanted to get out of the business. His kids were not interested in the automotive business. And granted, I don't know even if, he wanted to get out of the business, right? So he sold the business.
Right.
That's common with any business, right? It's an exit strategy.
Of course.
But when you get gobbled up by a larger organization, to your point, controlling cost, right? And monopolizing markets potentially. The opportunity cost to service market is X. We have presence there. We're going to get the business because there's not a lot of options. And then you look at the fulfillment side of the business, right? Online fulfillment. That's where I don't understand the BBB side, because if you want to have a bigger digital presence, why go buy a WD, dude? Just freaking partner with all the WDs. I mean, that's what Revolution Parts is doing, right? That's what they're kicking ass at, man. They're connecting all your distribution, man. So if you're a BBB and you run a badass digital transformation, you just connect all the network in, right? You just it's not that difficult. It's easy in verbally theory, but it takes years and years and years to get to that point. So so
and then you don't have to, they don't have to invest in the infrastructure to do it. Somebody else is already doing that for you. And that's the brilliant thing. You're not, hiring staff. You're not building brick and mortar things. You're not, having any sort of office. All these expenses are just wrapped up into one cost, one monthly cost, and that's the beauty, with Revolution Parts.
Absolutely. With Revolution Parts. Yeah. One cost makes you all. But when you look at distribution, your cost it's a cost file, right?
Oof. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so you're leveraging all of these pieces of the pie for no reason. I mean, your balance sheet looks great. So I find that interesting. And then, but when you take that next forward, I would invest 2W Team Builder. Hey, shout out there, man.
That's it. That's
exactly
absolutely
why we're creating it, is because as digital transforms acquisition occur, we are moving to more online digital work. We want to develop some cost-effective solutions that are automotive focused and trained and ready to go and turnkey. That's where I think people really need to kind of refocus is, if you're going to acquire it, acquire it, but where can we acquire it, lower our human capital, but have higher output.
That's the thing. And, and I understand. I mean, a lot of people have this perception that, outsourcing and employee leasing, and they're thinking of some Asian markets, that they've had a bad experience with before on in a call center call. And they're thinking, geez, I'm going to end up with a bunch of uneducated idiots, working for me. That's going to cost me more time. And, yeah, okay, I might save a few bucks, but it's going to wreck my organization. And, in a lot of times, I'll be honest, that is fact. I mean, there's lots of call centers out there, outsourcing companies that are bottom of the barrel, not hiring good staff, not hiring educated staff. And that's why I'm really looking forward to Craig coming on, because I mean, he's, primarily based here in the Philippines with mostly Filipino staff, and who I've met, at his peak.
Well,
I think
you know them, man. You know them.
like
I mean,
70, 80 employees, working there. And let me tell you, I mean, he goes through an extremely rigorous process when hiring. First of all, they're all university educated. That is number one. That's requirement number one. Number two is, they're spoken English. They go through rigorous tests even before they get to the interview process. They go through, interviews online. They do tests online, that they have to go through even to get their resume looked at even before anything. And then number three is he doesn't hire anybody without that particular experience. And that's his thing. So it's not like you're getting a newbie right out of university that's never, let's say sold or never answered a telephone, or, he requires that there's at least at the bare minimum, I think, and Craig will correct me if I'm wrong in the interview, but, 1 to 2 years minimum experience. And I believe it's actually, when I talked to him before, 3+ years is really what he looks for. So, kudos to Craig. I mean, he really, you'll see when you talk to him. He runs a world-class organization with world-class staff who doesn't leave, and they're happy working for him. He pays great wages, full benefits, So that's why this partnership is going to be absolutely phenomenal, because, I'm going to be here hands-on with these people. We've already got a few people here working for us in the Philippines, for us, Gideon, I'm talking 2W Auto Group directly with us. And they're phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So,
yeah, and I think that's a really critical piece. And then as we continue to level up, and that's where the automotive side, and I think that's where, you look at poor experiences in the past. Well, it was maybe a shot in the dark, right? Kind of blindly thrown a dart, hoping for the best. But when you have the structure and you have like the focus and you have the guidance and leadership, all those things make a difference.
That's right.
They make a big difference. And so,
and the great thing is OnSource, they've obviously got their presence in the U.S. They have an office in the U.S. in Arizona. 2W Auto Group, we're based in Florida in the U.S., but also like Craig, who's coming on, he's based here. His business partner right now is based in the U.S. So it's the same thing with us, Gideon. I mean, you're there in Florida. I'm here in the Philippines, but, Craig is a full-time guy here in the Philippines. It's not, he's, I think he goes back to the U.S. maybe once a year, but he's in the office Monday to Friday with the team, overseeing things. And, and I think that's a massive advantage, for our clients here in the future, with the 2W team builder.
Well, it is. It's the difference between success and failure. Structure breeds results, and outcomes and guidance. And that's kind of where that's where I love develop. I've always enjoyed developing talent, and I've always enjoyed developing teams, and I've always enjoyed, being at the cutting edge. Like, it's just where I enjoy to be. Like, I'd rather be there than in a desk just moving around paper. I mean, we've kind of, with our partnership and with Revolution Parts and what they've been doing. I mean, there's really just so many things that are such cutting edge and at the front. And that's just a fun place to be. There's a lot of excitement there. And that's what I like, man. If you put me anywhere else, kill me, right? Just shoot me 100%. In the head. I don't care. But yeah, no, I think that's really fun. That's really exciting. And I think we're going to continue to watch the automakers move, the market. We're going to continue to watch the acquisitions come into play. We're going to continue to watch what your retail box stores are doing. And maybe we can call out some mistakes before they happen, and maybe help some of these big CEOs make better decisions.
Exactly. 100%. And they're all listening right now, Gideon. I'm sure we're going to get off this podcast and our phones are going to start ringing, and They're going to say, guys, we need your help immediately.
Yeah, they're always asking us.
Where have you been? Yeah. We're just humble guys. Yeah.
We're two pieces of humble pie looking for a beer.
Exactly. We keep it confidential who we're talking to, but yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Well, as we're up on time, it's really a great to have another episode right beside you, Lucas. I look forward to Craig Fox coming on.
Yes.
I look forward to all the great things that Jennifer Abella in 2W's world can get going for us. She's awesome. And we're going to see a lot more great things coming into our industry. We're going to see a lot of great things coming into our publications. New press releases that will be rolling out. And I'd like to even get maybe I'll bump him over at Revolution Parts. Ibrahim, I'd like to get him on to talk a little bit. There's so many great things that we have going on, and we look forward to doing some awesome things in the industry. As always, folks, we are the 2W Auto Group. This is the Auto Trends Podcast. We are the voice of the industry.